Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture. Stomping Grounds has just finished and this bloody company, eh? This is what went down at Stomping Grounds. And you know what? It was fine up until the end, wasn't it? Because we all went into this pay-per-view with kind of low expectations. Loads of rematches, not really that great deal of intrigue, not a lot of hooks to get you watching, just off the back of the Saudi show, Extreme Rules to come. But the show itself was pretty enjoyable for the most part. There was some exciting title changes, there was some really good matches on there, and I thought, oh, you know what? We have a go at WWE quite a lot, but sometimes, you know, they can really pull it out of the bag. And the special guest referee was announced for the main event. Jesus. This company, Vince McMahon, your sports entertainment bollocks is something else, isn't it? Well, we'll get to that anyway. Let's start at the beginning. And we're going to start actually on the pre-show because we don't normally talk about the pre-show, and I'll be honest, I need a bit of cheering up after that end to the pay-per-view. So we'll talk about the Cruiserweight Championship triple threat match. Tony Nese versus Drew Gulak versus Akira Tozawa. And this was bloody brilliant. An exciting start to the pay-per-view, an enjoyable match, and just three guys just doing what they do best. Drew Gulak breaking up loads of pinfalls, Akira Tozawa being one of the greatest exports of Titus worldwide, and Tony Nese being Tony and his tiny knees. I love him. I love him. I thought the match was really good. Really happy for Drew Gulak. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Happy for him. Well deserved. Can't wait to see what they do with him next. Drew Gulak is the new Cruiserweight champion after he pinned Akira Tozawa. And so we thought, right, okay, that was a pre-show. On to the main show. What have you got for us? Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans. This was bad. This was a bad start to the show. Becky Lynch calling the match like she's John Cena, just making sure people, I don't know, I was going to say in the back seats, but they didn't sell out the back seats, or the front seats, or half the seats to be perfectly honest, but making sure everyone can hear what moves are coming next in that match. Lacey Evans, I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. I thought the match that she had with Becky Lynch and Money in the Bank wasn't half bad, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, this just showcases how out of her depth she is. Missing spots, just really laying it in to Becky Lynch when she didn't need to, nearly yanking her bloody hair off when she had a wrap around the turnbuckle. Yeah, not a pretty sight this whatsoever. Becky Lynch eventually winning via submission after she locked Lacey Evans in to disarm her. But for me, Lacey Evans needs to go back to NXT or just disappear for a while because she needs to get a bit more experience because, yeah, this wasn't pretty at all, but she's not going anywhere anytime soon. At least I thought at that point, well, that's the last we'll see of Lacey Evans for a while. Nope. Anyway, next up, a really enjoyable match, a match that I didn't really care about whatsoever, and I thought, why have they put this on the card? But in the end, they completely justified it. It was the New Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, Big E and Xavier Woods versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, I should say. And yeah, just give these guys a bit of time and let them do what they do best. Really enjoyable stuff. Big E, that dive through the ropes, it gets me terrified every single time. Can you stop? Don't do that anymore. Just keep tweeting Becky Lynch's mum on Twitter. That's what we really like. You grow a great wrestler as well, but just that spot, no. And I think all of us assumed another loss for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They've been getting beat left and right on telly, but that wasn't the case. A really fantastic match from these four, and it ended with Kevin Owens pinning Xavier Woods with a pop-up powerbomb after him and Sami had sort of run interference and taken out Big E. And, well, quick note on Xavier Woods, we saw him later on after Kofi Kingston retained. He had his shoulder all taped up and he was holding in a really weird way, so hopefully that's not a serious injury. Get well soon regardless, Xavier. But yes, does kind of make sense if you believe where they're going next with the WWE Championship to have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn go over, but still a nice surprise nonetheless. Next up we had, was it Ricky? It was Samoa Joe versus Ricky. That's not his name. Ricochet, which was, I think for me, match of the night, just edging out that Cruiserweight Championship match. It was the United States title, of course, on the line here, and just Samoa Joe being a big odd bastard like he always is, and Ricochet being just a flippy git. Was slightly concerned that this pay-per-view was completely cursed when Ricochet face planted as part of his entrance, but still, no, these two work wonders together. This is certainly a match that I would not mind seeing a few more times on future pay-per-views. They work so well together, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Although, what they seem to be teasing, at least in the post-match celebrations, could be equally as intriguing. But yes, Samoa Joe is fantastic. Ricochet defies physics half the bloody time, and that was just the story of this match. Samoa Joe just laying it in thick, and Ricochet escaping every now and again to do some flippy-do nonsense, which was just brilliant. And the finish was Ricochet initially missing the 630, then setting up the spot again a minute or two later, nailing Samoa Joe with the 630. A sequence that we thought was going to end with Samoa Joe just snatching Ricochet out of thin air and choking the life out of him. No, Ricochet got the 1, 2, 3. He is your new United States champion. Another title change on this show. Didn't expect that. And congratulations to him. He celebrated. He was so happy. He walked backstage, was congratulated by some of the roster, loads of just random goobies who were just knocking about, and Otis and Tucker, because they were waiting to go out next. And then Triple H just patting his little boy on the back and slapping him a little bit too hard in the face. Good for you. And later on in the night, as he was getting his photo taken with his newly won prize, we had Ricochet accosted by the Good Brothers and AJ Styles, who said, "Oh, I'll see you on Monday." So, are we going to get AJ Styles versus Ricochet? You bloody owe us it, WWE, after that end. Okay, what did we have next? Oh, it was, of course, Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus Heavy Machinery. Once again, proving that Daniel Bryan is he's just the best, isn't he? He can probably get a good match out of me, but as a lot of people had suggested heading into this, this is going to be a bit of a surprise hit, a bit like this whole pay-per-view up until a point. And yeah, it was decent. This Otis is just over like Rover. The crowd, it was a bit of a weird crowd this, because obviously it was Bryan's. It was in Washington, so Bryan got cheered to the rafters, even though he's meant to be the heel, and people didn't really know how to take Heavy Machinery as a result of that. But Otis is just a gem, isn't he? The weird sort of hulking up thing. Only he could pull something like that off. You had the big bastards segment with Tucker and Rowan. Vince was just bloody. I could be fair, quite like that as well. They had that. They had the caterpillar, and then you eventually, yeah, this is another example of a team looking good in defeat. WWE don't very often do this, but yes, Heavy Machinery may have lost the match. Daniel Bryan and Rowan may well still be SmackDown Tag Team Champions, but this was just a fantastic showcase of, yet again, Daniel Bryan getting people over. He rolled up Tucker, Mr. Small Package himself. No one escapes it. He rolls up Tucker after a really exciting little sequence between the four of them. Gets the 3 count, legs it with Rowan. They are still SmackDown Tag Team Champions, but this one could roll on and on and on, and just, yeah, more Otis. If you don't like him, chances are I don't care for you as a person. So that was an enjoyable SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, and if you get a chance, go and watch Daniel Bryan's promo on the pre-show, because he's just the best. He's just the best. Bayley versus Alexa Bliss was next for her SmackDown Women's Tag Team, SmackDown Women's Championship even. And I think a lot of people suspected this was going to go one of two ways involving Nikki Cross. Either she was going to get involved in the match and cost Bayley, or she was going to accidentally cost Alexa Bliss. And it was the latter that happened in this match. Nikki Cross got taken out by a tope suicida from Bayley halfway through this match, and then just as Alexa Bliss looked like she might have the match won, she was setting up for the Twisted Bliss. Nikki Cross tries to get in the ring, distracts the referee, distracts Alexa. That allows Bayley to take control. Alexa doesn't manage to hit the Twisted Bliss. Bayley hits the Bayley's the belly for the 1, 2, 3. She is still your SmackDown Women's Champion, and she shoves Nikki Cross on the way out, just a bit of extra. Good, more of this. Let them go to Extreme Rules and hopefully fight it out, because they really need to lay to bed that ghost of that god-awful kendo stick on a... No, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Right, what do we get next? Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, I think it was. Good news. Roman Reigns got cheered to the rafters when he eventually won this match, which is great. It was just, I quite liked their match at WrestleMania. I thought maybe I was slightly overwhelmed by the whole scenario that we're in, i.e. it's WrestleMania and the crowd, but it was also the fact that a lot of people said, oh, it wasn't very good, but then I thought maybe you just think that because we'd been there for about 20 hours at that point and we were knackered. But yeah, it wasn't great this, it was just quite ploddy in parts. Look, it's been what we've seen week in and week out on TV. Shane McMahon, the annoying little gnat that he is at ringside, interfering in this match, laying his hands on Roman whenever the referee's back was turned. Roman chased him through the crowd at one point. But I quite liked the bits that Shane was in, even though there was quite a few choice chants said about him. There was one point where it looked like Roman was about to win the match, so Shane pulled the referee out of the ring and attacked Roman. None of this is a DQ, by the way. He hits a coast to coast, and that almighty move must surely have put Roman Reigns down. No, he kicks out. He eventually gets back into this match. Superman punches for everyone. Drew McIntyre goes for a Claymore, but mid-leap for Claymore, his legs were just sort of vaguely in the air. He gets Superman punched by Roman, speared, 1, 2, 3. The takeaway here is Shane McMahon's better than Drew McIntyre. And we got promised, subsequent to that we are going to get a handicap match on Monday Night Raw with Drew and Shane taking on Roman Reigns. This is going to carry on, apparently. Fine, okay. One thing that hopefully won't carry on is the feud between Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler, because I've enjoyed the promos going into both Super Showdown and the promo package ahead of this. I don't think anyone really bought that Dolph Ziggler was ever going to become WWE Champion, but it just suddenly dawned on me about 2 minutes into this steel cage match. Don't really care about this match. They put their all into it. They really did pull out all the stops that they could, but it's a steel cage match. There's not many things that you won't have already seen before. The usual sort of battling to the top of the cage, and then, oh, I've changed my mind. I'm just going to try and beat you via pinfall here. But I'll tell you what, that finish is going to stay with me for a long time. That salvaged the match for me. It was, again, quite methodical, and Dolph Ziggler trying to do this sort of slow pacing thing that I don't think he can quite pull off, to be perfectly honest. But that finish with Dolph Ziggler crawl out of the cell door, and it looked to all the world like he was just about to. Kofi's on the other side of the ring. How on earth is he going to stop him? Well, apparently he's just going to swan dive out of the ring through the ropes, nearly breaking his neck by catching his feet on the ropes, nearly smashing Dolph Ziggler in the back of the head with his knees as he falls down. But regardless, Kofi Kingston is still WWE Champion. Dolph Ziggler looked devastated afterwards. Kofi celebrated, got interviewed at the top of the ramp. I hope, for one, we move on from this feud. We don't have any of this triple threat match with Kevin Owens. I think it's been suggested somewhere, or it's been leaked that that's what's on the card. I want to see Extreme Rules, Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton. It legitimizes Kofi Kingston as WWE Champion, and we know what a sadist Randy Orton can be after Hell in a Cell against Jeff Hardy, of course, and, well, most of his career. So just let that happen, because it's been absolutely fantastic. Right, main event time. It's just so frustrating being a WWE fan, isn't it? Look, this match had AEW chants, had CM Punk chants, had Daniel Bryan chants, had John Cena chants. That's what people were crying out for. All because WWE had to be WWE, didn't they? Look, they hadn't revealed who this special guest referee was, which in hindsight was probably a good idea, because if everyone went, Lacey Evans, well, I'm not watching that. But the problem we have when you don't announce that is speculation runs riot. Somebody was saying, well, is it going to be Brock Lesnar? Is he going to cash in? Of course he's not. It's bloody stomping ground, you fools. Of course he's not going to be there. They tried to tease us with Paul Heyman being backstage, like he doesn't just sort of pop along anyway to most shows because he's just a top bloke. Anyway, all right, maybe it's not going to be Brock. Maybe it's going to be, I read somewhere Shayna Baszler was being suggested. I personally said Triple H. That'd be an intriguing little setup of, well, he's got this history with Seth Rollins, but he's also a higher up, and Baron Corbin, and blah, 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 blah. Maybe it's going to be Vince McMahon. Maybe it's going to be Shane McMahon. Maybe it's going to be Stephanie McMahon. Sod it, I'd have taken Linda McMahon. But what we got was Baron Corbin announcing that Lacey Evans, the turd that won't flush, was the special guest referee. And yes, you can probably guess what happened next. It was all your typical special guest referee, except without any of the charisma you'd expect when, like, The Rock was the special guest referee. She'd quick count Baron Corbin's pinfalls. She'd slow count Seth Rollins' pinfalls, in one point saying, oh, I can't count anymore, I've got a hurty arm. And then when Baron Corbin, to be fair, in a great little spot, got put through the table, she decided at the count of 9, no, we're going to make this match a no count-out match. Okay, fair enough. So Baron Corbin gets the chair, he wails on Seth Rollins, and she goes, I'm going to allow that. We're going to make this match no DQ. Look, we could all see where this was heading, and yet it astonishes me. Becky Lynch, of course, came out to make the save for Seth Rollins after Lacey had screwed him over most of the match and then punched him in the bollocks, just as a little point. Baron Corbin hits the end of days. We think, oh my God, Baron Corbin is going to be Universal Champion. Andy Murray's tits are about to be blown completely off. But no, Becky Lynch comes out, beats the crap out of Lacey Evans, hits a Beck-sploder into the guardrail. And the referees, who, you know, are pretty pissed, presumably, because they've just gone, you're a crap wrestler. Do you want to be a crap referee as well? They are there, so they decide, well, then we're going to have to referee the rest of this match. John Cone, nice little spot, because of course John Cone was the referee who screwed Baron Corbin at Super Showdown. He gets into the ring, Baron Corbin's not happy. It ends, the finishing sequence is Baron Corbin going to hit the end of days, reverse, Seth Rollins hits a stomp, 1, 2, 3, he is still your Universal Champion. But that's not the takeaway here, is it? It's Vince McMahon really wants you to know that Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are banging. Because, look, Vince, just because they're in a relationship, that doesn't define who they are as characters and shouldn't define their entire career. I know you can never get your senile old brain around that, but for God's sake, not only have you ruined the main event of this pay-per-view, which is, you know, not great, but it's Stomping Grounds, it's not exactly got a checkered history or anything like that. So not only have you done that, you've made Seth Rollins' run with the Universal Championship worse and added Baron Corbin into the mix and Lacey Evans, but you've now sort of tarnished Becky Lynch as well. You really know how to screw things up. Again, AEW do their best work by doing nothing and letting WWE just consistently shoot themselves in the foot, all in the name of sports entertainment. That, Vince McMahon, is not sports entertainment. Becky Lynch spanking Seth Rollins, I'll give you that. That was good. Becky Lynch holding the ropes open for him, that was quite a nice little touch as well. But everything else that surrounds this bollocks, and apparently will now lead to probably some sort of mixed tag match, Extreme Rules. Oh goody. Just, oh, you're the worst. You are the worst version of yourself. Vince, this is not vintage sports entertainment. The fans are pissed. That is why they are chanting for your biggest rivals when they haven't even had a weekly television show yet. It was a sour taste in the mouth. It was worse than that now, actually. I wasn't angry, I wasn't disappointed. It's just grim acceptance with WWE now. You do this bollocks regularly after having great things happen for you, like WrestleMania and what have you, and you expect to just keep tuning in and you wonder why your audiences are dwindling or diminishing. It's getting people to the point now where they just throw their hands up and go, I can't be arsed anymore. You seem to think that we all are going to tune in tomorrow night because we have to find out what happens next. Some people are just fed up and are so used to this continued bollocks that they can't take it anymore. It was a real disappointment because, as I said, for the most part, this was quite a surprisingly good pay-per-view. But no, ruined it at the end. Let me know your thoughts, and already I can see AEW being hammered into keyboards across the world. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And check out our podcast for more mad ramblings about Mad Vince and his wacky company by checking out What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Vince McMahon, Stomping Grounds was okay, and then you blew it right at the end. That is not sports entertainment, that is not good, and most importantly, that, Vince McMahon, is not good shit.